Welcome to a Smartboard training. We're going to do a little bit with the Infinite Cloner tool that's much more middle school oriented. All right, I'm going to start at the beginning. Let's take an example here of a typical periodic table of elements type lesson. The Infinite Cloner tool can be used to supplement this lesson by creating a little model of an atom. And for the students, in order to learn their atomic numbers, they're going to need to know where to place their protons, their neutrons, and their electrons when they create the atom. So I'm going to go back and do my lesson. Helium, as I can see, has an atomic number of 2. And over on the model, this actually is from our lesson activity toolkit. Over on our model here, I can see that I need 2 protons, 2 neutrons, and 2 electrons. And the students are going to need to know where to place those. So I'm going to use the Infinite Cloner tool. And what that will do for my object, and if you use the little button to press down, I'm going to use Infinite Cloner. That defines this as something that can be made copies of over and over again. So let's take a look here. Let's see. I need 2 protons. This has been infinitely cloned. So I can pull it, and there's still another one up there. And I need another one here. And I know that I needed some neutrons. And then, of course, for the students, they can place the electrons around the outside. So that's one way to use the Infinite Cloner tool. Let's try another example. Multiple answer questions. If you want to give check marks where they are correct, this is an example of civil disobedience. And it does say check all that apply. Here's my object. I'm going to set this for Infinite Cloner. And now the students are able to put the check mark next to all that apply. This happens to be a pictograph. And what I've done is right out of my gallery, I found these barrels. And just a reminder of how to do that. You can do a search. Over here, you'll notice I have a half a barrel. I'm going to kind of work backwards to show you how I made that. First of all, I'm going to remove the Infinite Cloner, and I'm going to remove something I did called grouping. I'm going to ungroup this. Now you'll be able to see what I've done. I actually have 2 objects there. One is the barrel, and one is a white square that I drew over it. This will make a very nice grouped object when I choose that option to group it together. So now it becomes one object, and then I've set it for Infinite Cloner. Now, if I wanted the students to come up and graph the 19 million barrels of oil that the U.S. does, you'll get the idea. They can continue to add the 19 barrels. I'm only going to do a few. All right? Let's move on. Another option, of course, is with grammar. They can add all the commas to the sentences that they need, or they can add semicolons or colons or periods, wherever is necessary. He left the scene of the accident and tried to forget that it had happened. This is infinitely cloned, and it's nice and bold in red. Another option is going to be in music. Of course, you can do all kinds of things in music to get your key signatures. Here's a really cute way to use the Infinite Cloner as a highlighter. Take the Infinite Clone off for a moment. And then I want to take a look at the properties of this object. This object, I've used object transparency. When transparency is off, when you look at the object, it's solid. And you can see that pretty clearly, that this would cover up the numbers if it was solid. But going back to the properties now, I'm using a transparency on it, which makes it nice because you can actually see what's underneath. It becomes a very nice highlighter. So of course we're going to use the Infinite Cloner, and we're going to go ahead and identify our prime numbers that way. All kinds of ideas. If you have some more ideas, write me and let me know from Smarties.